Why, hello there. It is so nice to finally have you come over. Well, come on in. As the neighbors have already told you, my name is Hazel, and I am so glad that you came and reached out to me. I didn't know anyone new had moved into the neighborhood. How have you liked the area so far? Oh, you betcha. A small town like this is definitely a change of pace from a big city. Why don't you get yourself situated at the table? I made some tea for us to share. So if I understand this correctly, you heard from the neighbors that I'm a witch and you were curious to know what exactly it is that I do. Is that correct? Well, I'm sure witchcraft was more mainstream where you used to live, but I'm still a slight oddity around here. At least they haven't run me out of town with torches and pitchforks. I have been very fortunate that my neighbors are very kind. They'll even come to me for some dinner recipes or natural remedies for certain ailments. Oh, but don't let that give you the wrong idea. I prefer to use natural remedies for smaller ailments, like taking ginger tea if my stomach feels a little off. But if it's anything more than that, you can bet I'm taking that over-the-counter stuff that knocks you out for days for a speedy recovery. I'm what you would call a kitchen witch. I do quote-unquote magic and rituals through cooking and maintaining my kitchen. I think it's one of the easiest ways to get into witchcraft because most everyone already has what they need to get started. You don't need a fancy altar, crystals, or any other kind of ornaments. You can just start off with a cooking pot and a mixing spoon. You know, I was about to make some soup for lunch. Why don't you come help me, and I can show you exactly what it is I do. Afterwards, we'll have a delicious meal we can share. Well, come on. We're going to be making a pureed vegetable soup. I already peeled and chopped the potatoes and carrots. I just have to prepare the leeks. You've never used leeks? That will be lesson number 1. You see these white and green stalks here? They kind of look like really big scallions. These are leeks. They have a very mild onion flavor and won't overpower the flavor of the soup. I need you to chop off the dark green leafy part and the stringy root part. We won't use those. The remaining white stalks will then get cut in half lengthwise from one end to the other. You can use this knife to cut up the leeks. Now, the thing about witches is that we're a lot like cookie cutters. We can cut from the same cookie dough, but we all come in different shapes and sizes. One witch can have one way of doing rituals, but another can do things very differently. The thing that brings us all together is the act of intention and meditation. Perfect. Now we need to wash the leeks. As you can see, leeks have a lot of layers just like an onion, and because they grow out from the ground, they can collect dirt in between these layers. Since we cut the leeks lengthwise, we can peel the layers back and get that dirt out. You'll find most of the dirt is in the first few outermost layers. Now you can take these washed stalks and slice them up pretty thin so we can saute them with the other vegetables. You don't have to worry about the slices being perfectly uniform, since it's all going to be blended up in the end anyway. Now, where was I? Oh, intention and meditation. Just like any other spiritual practice, and in everyday life, a clean space is a must, especially in the kitchen. You can think of cleaning the kitchen as a spiritual cleanse, something meditative. You can imagine yourself removing all the negativity from the day as you sweep the floor, wipe the counter, or even wash the dishes. Making sure your kitchen is clean before you start not only helps you focus on the present, but also ensures that you have enough space to work in when you cook. You sliced those leeks up perfectly. Now we can get to cooking. I'll start by melting some butter in the pot with some olive oil. Then you can add the sliced leeks. Here, take the spoon and stir up the leeks so they're all getting sautéed evenly. Now I'll toss in the carrots and potatoes. Just keep stirring those vegetables. You know, stirring is the perfect time that a lot of witches like to add in some more meditation. Some witches like to put positive thoughts into their recipes, the well-known secret ingredient. Some witches think about tasks they still need to accomplish and use the time to help motivate and organize themselves for what's to come next. Like I mentioned before, every witch is different. If you think you'd be interested in starting your own practice, I can certainly teach you some basics. But the rest is up to you. I did call it your own practice after all. You don't have to follow the teachings of other witches word for word, you know. That's how you make your intentions and meditations unique to you and your needs. And then you'll be using your own brand of magic. See that large glass pitcher there? That's my liquid measuring cup, and it has the vegetable stock we need to add in next. Go ahead and pour it in. Let me add in some thyme leaves. There. Now we'll cover this up, turn the heat down a bit so we can simmer it for a while. I'll set a timer and we can sit with our tea while we wait. All right, let's move on to the finishing touches for our soup. Let me turn off the stove and grab my handheld blender. If you don't have one, that's perfectly fine. You can still use a regular blender, but that can sometimes lead to volcanic outcomes. So it's best if you just do it in small batches. Otherwise, you can blend up the soup right in the pot with one of these handheld blenders. Take this and give it a try. Blend it up until it's nice and smooth. While you blend that up, I'm going to add in a cup each of milk and cream. Then I'll add in some lemon juice. That's a lovely golden color. You'll find that if you add any extra carrots, it may turn out a little more orange, but it'll still taste just as good. Now, the final step. You can test the soup and add in the ground nutmeg, salt, and pepper. So, what do you think? Did we manage to make some good magic soup? Oh, good. Let me get some bowls and we'll serve it right up. Cheers to a first successful witch lesson. If you do ever want to learn more, you let me know. You do? Well then, I guess I should start calling you my apprentice. I'd be more than happy to teach you what I know. There's plenty more to witchcraft than just cooking. I'll help you find your own style in no time. Until then, let's enjoy the soup you helped make, and we can discuss what you'd like to learn next.